What's up, people? Welcome back to Mini-Ments, a mental health Monday Tuesday production. And today's episode is talking about SAD, seasonal affective disorder. First of all, according to the American Psychiatric Association, seasonal affective disorder is a form of depression, also known as SAD, seasonal depression or winter depression. In the Diagnostic Manual of Mental Disorders, or the DSM-5, the disorder is identified as a type of depression, major depressive disorder with a seasonal pattern. People with SAD experience mood changes and symptoms similar to depression. The symptoms usually occur during the fall and winter months when there is less sunlight and usually improve with the arrival of spring. The most difficult months for people with SAD in the United States tend to be January and February. While it is much less common, some people experience SAD in the summer. SAD is more than just winter blues. The symptoms can be distressing and overwhelming and can interfere with daily functioning. However, it can be treated. About 5%, again, about 5% of adults in the U.S. experience SAD, and it typically lasts for about 40% of the year. It is more common among women than men. SAD has been linked to biochemical imbalance in the brain, prompted by shorter daylight hours and less sunlight in winter. As seasons change, people experience a shift in their biological internal clock, or circadian rhythm, that can cause them to be out of step with their daily schedule. SAD is more common in people living far away from the equator, where there are fewer daylight hours in the winter. Here are a few of the symptoms, being negative thoughts and feelings of guilt, change in sleep, lethargic, disturbed sleep, or narcoleptic symptoms. Social patterns, meaning difficult to be around others, where you would normally be okay with being around others. Fatigue that is often incapacitating, difficulty with concentration and memory, overeating, and developing a craving for carbohydrates and sweets. Hold on, there's more to come. I'm back, and here are a few other symptoms and complications. Loss of interest in things that were once enjoyed, inability to sit still, pacing, hand wringing, slow movements or speech, and those things are usually observable by others, substance abuse, anxiety, eating disorders, suicidal thoughts, and behaviors. Now we're going to move on to the causes, although the causes are not a definite. One of the causes speaks to our hormone levels, one being the serotonin levels. Serotonin levels, a drop in serotonin, which is a brain chemical neurotransmitter that affects mood and might play a role in SAD, because of reduced sunlight can cause a drop in the serotonin that may trigger depression. Another hormone, melatonin levels. The change in season can disrupt the balance of the body's levels of melatonin, which plays a role in sleep patterns and mood. And the next one, which is really huge, um, vitamin D deficiency. Vitamin D deficiency has been linked to increased risk of asthma, cancer, chronic pain, among other conditions. Now, a new study led by researchers from the University of Georgia associates low vitamin D levels with greater risk of seasonal affective disorder. Firstly, the researchers note that vitamin D levels in the body fluctuate with the changing seasons in response to available sunlight. In addition, certain chronic conditions such as celiac disease, bariatric surgery, obesity, and chronic kidney or liver disease can contribute to deficiency. The latest research links vitamin D deficiency to mood swings, depression, lack of energy, chronic skin conditions, and other chronic diseases. Unfortunately, about 42% of the U.S. population is vitamin D deficient, with some populations having even higher levels of deficiency, including perimenopausal women, those with poor nutritional habits, people over age 65, Caucasians who avoid even minimal sun exposure, and those who take prescription medication long term for heartburn, acid reflux, and constipation. Studies show people with darker skin, such as African Americans and Latinos, are also at risk of lower vitamin D levels because high amounts of melanin in skin reduce the body's ability to produce vitamin D from sunlight. Go get your vitamin D checked. It is critical. On to the next. Okay, and the last cause would be your biological clock, or called your circadian rhythm. Now, the circadian rhythm are physical, mental, and behavior changes that follow a 24-hour cycle. These natural processes respond primarily to light and dark and affect most living things, including animals, plants, and microns. Chronobiology is the study of circadian rhythms. Circadian rhythms can influence important functions in our bodies, such as hormone release, eating habits and digestion, body temperature. However, most people notice the effect of circadian rhythms in their sleep patterns. The SCN controls the production of melatonin, a hormone that makes you sleepy. It receives information about incoming light from the optic nerves, which relay information from the eyes to the brain. When there is less light, for example, at night, the SCN tells the brain to make more melatonin, so you get drowsy. Here are some factors. Changes in your body and environmental factors can cause your circadian rhythms and the natural light-dark cycle to be out of sync. For example, mutations or changes in certain genes can affect your biological clocks. Jet lag or shift work causes changes in the light-dark cycle. Light from electronic devices at night can confuse your biological clocks. Now let's speak a little bit about this. With all of our cell phones, our some of us still use what do you call them? Oh my God, alarm clocks. Some people sleep with their television on. That's really bad because it's affecting your biological clock, and then you wonder why. Why do I have insomnia? Why I can never get to sleep? Well, number one, we need to put that phone down, and even if it's not off, lay the face down so that the light does not disturb your biological clock. These changes can cause sleep disorders and may lead to other chronic health conditions such as obesity, diabetes, depression, bipolar disorder, and of course, seasonal affective disorder. Here on the page, you see a graphic of your circadian rhythm and how and when certain things should occur naturally within your body. Now, the researchers said that 3% of study subjects later developed cardiovascular disease because their circadian rhythms were off for such a long period of time. The incident was highest in those with sleep times at midnight or later, and lowest in those with sleep onset between 10 p.m. and 10:59 p.m. or 11. Compared with onset during this golden hour, there was 25% higher risk of cardiovascular disease among those who fell asleep at midnight or later. 12% greater risk of cardiovascular disease for those who began sleeping between 11 and midnight. 24% increased risk of cardiovascular disease for those who fell asleep before 10 p.m. The association between sleep onset and cardiovascular risk was higher among women. That's what the researchers found. So researchers say falling asleep between 10 and 11 is the best time for heart health. They say that optimal bedtime fits well with circadian rhythms and daylight exposure. Experts say having a consistent bedtime. Let me repeat that. Experts say that having a consistent bedtime routine, as well as exercising and eating at the proper times, can help you fall asleep at a healthier hour. Now, How to get sleep at the right time? Well, the CDC recommends sticking to a regular schedule, going to bed at the same time every night, getting enough physical activity during the day, but not exercising within an hour before bedtime, avoiding artificial light, especially within a few hours of bedtime, meaning the blue light from your phone, your computer. Yes, I've actually had that problem. Not eating or drinking within an hour within a few hours of bedtime, and avoiding alcohol and foods high in fat or sugar. That actually disturbs your sleep, although some people say, I need to have a glass of wine so that I can sleep better. Actually, that's not working. The number one tip for achieving our sleep goals is to specifically set aside an appropriate amount of time for sleep and to maintain a strict schedule. As a general rule, nutritionists will tell you to wait about 3 hours. I'm going to say that again. Nutritionists will tell you to wait about 3 hours between your last meal and bedtime because this allows digestion to occur and the contents of your stomach to move into your small intestine. This may prevent problems like heartburn at night and insomnia. This has been Mini-Mints, and of course, your mental health affects your physical health. So let's make it a priority to have a happy, healthy, functioning mind. Holla!